The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
LA, straight up.
Let's go out to LA. The new anthem.
California
California Love Part 2.
One time.
To live and die in LA.
West side, west side, west side.
To live and die in LA, where everybody try to fatten their pocket. So many hustle for the cash, so it's hard to knock it. Everybody got their own thing, currency chasing. Worldwide through the hard times, worrying faces.
Well, hello. God bless your community family and welcome to Gang Talk with Sister Heron and Skip Townsend. As you can see, we're both in the studio this week because we've been missing our friend. A few very important conversations, talks that we've had to have over the last couple of months. But as I've said in Skip's behalf, he's very busy, and the more he does, the more they want from him. So now they're cutting into this hour, so we just have to live with what we can get from Skip now.
Well,
Hi,
thank
Skip.
you, sister.
Welcome
thank you
back.
for having me. Yes, indeed. It's good to be back. I give all honor and praise to God. I'm grateful to be back. Glad to be here, but like you say, where much is given, much is required. So I find myself...
And much is expected.
It is.
Let's just be honest about that. Much
So,
is expected. Because
just-
people look at you and say, well, why can't you?
Right. So I appreciate being here, appreciate being back, and what a wonderful guest to have for me to be back.
Yes, well, we have to thank our guests from last week first.
Yes, will
And
that
you
be
missed
Jaye?
that. That was Jaye Person Lynn.
And before that, it was Petra and
Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, right?
Yes.
So yes, I missed a couple of very powerful
Yes.
guests.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But we held it together in your absence, and General Jeff, our activist for the homeless population downtown, was happy to sit in for you on last week's show. And because Lamont works with Leah, he brought her down from San Bernardino, and he sat in as co-host.
Yes,
so
indeed.
we appreciate both men for coming.
Men will stand up when asked to, or when needed.
Men who will.
Men who will.
And I just really wanted to thank Jaye for last week because we had an unusual talk about gun control and the reality about the assault weapons they want to take off the market versus all the handguns that do 98% of the killing in this country. So
Right.
he's a legal gun owner. His family are gun owners. And as I expressed very clearly, that a black man with a gun is going to be killed by law enforcement.
Right.
As in the case of Philando Castillo, they don't recognize that you're a licensed carrier before they start shooting. So it's been an awful scenario for African American men that believe they have Second Amendment rights.
Right.
So,
Well, I don't believe that we have rights here in South Los Angeles, and I'm kind of borderline on whether we need to have those rights anyway, because I believe that more people would make the wrong decision than the right decision. However, I don't want black people to not have rights that other people in other parts of the country have, and and we're being victimized more than any other race ever to live.
And what we really wanted to clarify for all those anti-gun activists that want to go after the NRA, all the handguns that did the killing in my community are unregistered weapons, and nobody is asking anything about those.
Right.
Same thing in Chicago with all those homicides. Those are done with unregistered handguns.
I agree.
Handguns. And nobody's asking the NRA where those guns are coming from. So it's a conversation we just kind of started, but we're not done with. But the reality is, don't get caught by law enforcement as a black man with a gun in your hand.
Don't get caught by law enforcement as a black man.
Well, that kind of brings us right into the show tonight, because we can't just stick on that guideline, because I want you to notice I have pink in my hair tonight. I hope you can see it. And that pink
You
is
doing
for
dyeing your hair.
Hannah Bell
Oh, okay.
and her mother.
Yes,
15-year-old Hannah Bell with the pretty, beautiful pink hair and that
Yes.
beautiful picture of her when she was feeling good about herself and her hair was done and you could see a glow in her face.
Yeah.
That was her color. And I noticed a lot of my people, us, have attitudes about things that we don't need to. So I wanted to show some solidarity for our girls that like to color their hair because I like to do it too. So I
That's
made it
right.
my business to go find some spray and pink just
All right.
to honor Hannah.
Should have told me, sister. I could have.
Yeah, I could have did it
like
too.
this little. I got a bald patch right here. I could have made that shine.
If I'd have known better, I'd have brought that can with me, but I made it my business to go find it.
Yes,
I was
indeed.
on a mission, and as we have been since, bless her heart, she was murdered at that hamburger stand right up the street from where Ceasefire meets, where I have spent many a time in front of that window waiting for my own food. You know, it's my community. That's my corner.
I just don't, sister.
You just don't what?
I just don't sit at the window and wait for food. And I'm sorry that we live in a society where I feel that way, but I just know, and I heard Jennifer bring it up earlier about that was Quick and Split. And it was one of the best places to go, but it's just hard to sit there without something happening. And we have to change that. We have to change that. The best places to go eat, like Johnny Pastrami was in my neighborhood,
Yes.
and I'm just gonna
I'm
be honest.
heartbroken. Johnny's
I'm
closed.
gonna be honest. When I was younger, we used to wait for the wrong people to come over there, and it's sad to say that that's still going on. And that's why I give a shout out to everybody who does something to help change that, to make it safe. But never is it okay to approach anyone when they're with their mother.
No, absolutely not. And the truth, see, because even
And a
if they
little girl.
didn't know that was her mother, why would you deliberately kill this young girl? That's a question we won't know until we find the shooter.
Right.
And that's what we're looking for. That's a Mother's Day gift I want for 2018 family, and I'm looking right at you. I want you to know that's a Mother's Day gift we want this year, is to catch Hannah's murderer.
Right.
I've told, look, we were at the press conference last Monday. Somebody told me I was surrounded by a whole lot of shot callers. Okay? And I know them as men that I work with. Somebody just pointed out there was a lot of shot callers in there. And if you know what we do, you know what a shot caller is and the power they have. And so with that being said, I want to introduce our very special guest tonight.
Yes, indeed.
Very special guest. And her name is Jennifer Rivers. And as you can see by her shirt, her son's name was Tevin Price. And Tevin was a young
Tevin.
man. Tevin.
Okay.
Tevin. I had to be sure.
Okay. All right.
It's spelled it's spelled Taven, but it's pronounced
Tevin.
Tevin.
All right.
Okay? I had to get it straight. You know, we can't
Everybody
disrespect.
calls him Tevin. Tevin.
I had a lot of issues in third grade, so I had to look at it twice. So correct me when I'm wrong. It's all right.
No,
I
it's
know.
good.
I know.
It's okay.
It's like a Grechario Mac. And I just want to mention Grechario Mac, too, because it's been a hard
Yes, indeed.
time for our families. With
Yes, indeed.
Chario was a young man that was killed in the Crenshaw Mall. And his family is devastated. And as you can imagine, if that was your family member and he didn't get a chance to get taken into custody, taken to a hospital, get treatment
Right. That
for
was
his
horrible.
condition, it was hard. And as we spoke directly with the South Bureau Chief, we thought it was reckless endangerment at that location, the way it was handled. And he
Right.
admitted that there were some misses when they were firing. There were some misses. All those shots did not hit Chario. So our question is, where did they go, and what risk did that make for other people, employees,
Right.
families in the
Exactly.
mall? So
Because it was numerous of people in there.
yes, it was.
So-
Yes, it was. And
You could see the people videotaping and screaming.
Yes.
The lady in the shop ran out. She almost got shot.
Mhm.
You know,
It was absolutely reckless, and we have been after LAPD for years about the way they handle our mentally challenged community. Their policy has been to shoot them, kill
Well,
them.
I know how they act because, like I said, my son has special needs.
Well, we want to get to Tevin and talk about Tevin. Tell us the story about Tevin, because we were all there.
Well, I
If you feel comfortable about it,
Oh,
you want me to tell it.
I feel okay to tell it.
Okay, because it's a hard story.
I was on my way to work. Tevin always goes to work with me because I have clients. I take care of people. And
And you mentioned he was special needs,
he
too.
has special needs. He got hit by a car when he was 3 years old. And coming from the ice cream truck with my family members. And the car totally ran him over. He was in a coma for a month. They said he would never walk again, talk again. They said he was brain dead. And so I told the devil he was a lie. And my Aunt Lily, she went in there and prayed over my son and put that anointing oil on him. And within 1 hour, my right hand of God, within 1 hour, he woke up asking for his lowrider car.
Okay.
And so
he survived a lot. He survived a lot,
and-
bless his heart. And he was a very young man. What was he? 19?
19.
19.
Yeah. And the anniversary is coming up on the 29th of this month. It's going to be 3 years already. Seems like just like yesterday
It
when
does.
Hannah got killed in front of her mother. That just really opened up a wound for me again. Because I, as a mother, watched this guy, Kenosha, put literally 4 bullets in my child. When he first ran up, he was shooting, bam, bam, bam. And I was talking to Tevin. He was telling me about the guy banging on him in the shop, which was Dwight. He described him to the T. And the girl, which was Ace. And so we're talking. So I said, you know what, Tevin? Let's go. I said, we've been living over here 15 years. And nobody ever bothered you. You have walked during the summer from 73rd and Van Ness all the way to Inglewood in front of the DMV to the ARP program over there where he worked as a custodian during the summer through the program.
Right.
And
Never had any problems from anybody
never,
doing any of
ever over there.
that. To that day, he came to that particular corner with his red tennis shoes on.
Yeah, well,
As innocent as he was any other day, he got up and got dressed.
and
put
nobody
his
ever
shoes
said
on.
nothing to him. And he wore whatever he wanted to wear because Tevin liked to dress. But he came and he told me what was going on. So I said, you know what? I'm going to hang this vacuum up and we're going to leave. I said, because I don't want no problems.
Right.
And I
you
don't
were
want
at the car wash,
Yeah,
and he
right.
had gone around to the smoke shop there.
Right. My boss had called and said I didn't have to come to work. So I was like, cool. So Tevin asked me, well, I'll take him to the beach. And so I told him, okay, I would take him to the beach. So he's like, well, let's vacuum out the car. And I was like, okay. So we started vacuuming out the car. He went in the front, him and Michaela, which was the girl that was with us, went to get some cigarettes and sodas. We already had the pizza. And so he came back and he ran back really scared. He's standing on the driver's side and I'm on the passenger's. He started telling me, describing Dwight banging on him, telling him to take off his MF shoes and, nigga, you gonna die over here. You ain't
Stupid
finna,
stuff.
you know, crazy
Stupid,
things to my
ignorant
son.
stuff.
And so I was like, you know what, let's go. And before I could say, let's go totally, before go could get out my mouth, I heard something say, pop, 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 pop. And I looked, and my son was talking to me, and all of a sudden he said, and I looked, and I seen that boy's leg, and I raised, I said, you just shot my son. And Tevin turned, and he just said, bam, bam, 2 more times to his heart, to his chest. And I immediately, ran around the car. The boy stood there for a second and looked at me and took off running. And then I didn't know if he was going to shoot me or not, and I really didn't care because I started running towards him, and that's when he took off. And so I grabbed Tevin. I laid him on the back seat because he got shot in the front door on the driver's side. And I laid him in the back seat on the driver's side. And I had the lady and the girl, Michaela, put pressure to his heart. And I grabbed the knife on the side of my door and started chasing the boy across Florence. And Tevin jumped up and started chasing me, chased the boy. And then my son collapsed, and that's when I already had stabbed him in his back, in his shoulder. But he kept running. And the boy, somebody picked him up at the corner by the little banging house.
Drove him out of the area. That collusion.
So, then the cold thing about it is that I'm screaming, I'm steadily calling 911 because my son was saying, Mommy, am I going to be all right? I'm not going to die. And I'm holding him in my arms. And I was like, no, Tevin, you're going to be okay, baby. You've been through worse things, and God's got you. And he kept saying, Mommy, it hurts so bad. I can't breathe. And I kept calling 911, and paramedics kept saying they was on their way. They went on Crenshaw and Slauson, and then they got here. It took them like almost 20 minutes to get there. Forever, like 28 minutes. And then the first one on the scene was not detective, but Officer Robeson. He's a LA traffic officer from, the Baldwin Hills Mall right there.
I know Robeson, he rides a motorcycle.
Yeah, that's Robeson. He's really nice.
I've
been knowing him a long time.
I have too.
I've been knowing him a long time since
I used to
we
drive
grew
a
up
tow
to
truck.
school.
He's the one broke up the fight between me and Mike. Remember Big Mike? Remember he hit me in the mouth? Robeson's the one who set it
He's
straight.
He's a good cop, man.
I know, because you was nuts to try to take on Big Mike. Somebody had to stop you and save you from yourself. Thank you, Officer Robeson, for saving Skip, because look.
Yeah, Rob Robeson's a good cop. So he pulled up and he seen it was me, and he know Tevin. Because he sees us at 7-Eleven every morning. I'm there at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning getting coffee and donuts, and Tevin's always with me. And Robeson, when he seen Tevin, he's like, oh my God, I said, they just shot my son. So he jumped off the bike and took off his helmet and was calling in and told the police to hurry up and get there in the ambulance, that it was an officer on the scene. And he asked Tevin, to bear with him, and he was getting ready to give Tevin CPR, and that's when the paramedics pulled up. And they made me get back, and Robeson, he went looking for them around the corner and all through the alley and stuff, but he didn't find them, but he came back. And then this one officer, her name is Broom. She's a senior deputy two-stripe officer. And she told me that I couldn't get near my son. I told her, lady, if you don't get away from me, I ain't the one.
Okay, and let me help in that for you. That is their policy. Okay, and it's a crime scene kind of thing.
Right,
but the way that they approach you is going to start the fight,
right,
or start the process. Exactly. It's going to be one or the other.
Right. Either you're going to make me sock you, or either I'm going to go to jail.
We're going to go to jail. And I'm going to go to jail with you because I'm going to hold her while you sock her.
Right, because you being disrespectful, you think because you got on this uniform, that's okay. No, it's not.
So look, that's bad, but what they did to Samantha Mays, which is Hannah Bell's mom, is they tricked her, manipulated her around the corner. To get her to the other side, so she's away, and now they're taking her daughter away, and she doesn't get to ride. So whether it's disrespectful, the way this lady was too aggressive, it could be manipulation as well, which to me isn't better. I think what needs to happen is we need to have these conversations prior. What is the policy and procedure, and how can the parents stay with their child? Because the last thing that Hannah Bell said to Samantha was, Mommy, it hurts. I'm shot and it hurts. So she don't get to ride.
Right. That's a terrible feeling. Because my son begged him. Look, on the video, like during the trial, I was able to sit down with the DA and the detective.
Well, we haven't gotten to that part yet.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you can see my son begging the police and the paramedics to let me ride with him in the ambulance.
Yeah. See, this is why we have to keep banging on them. These are policy issues, policy changes, and as much as I support and respect Black Lives Matter, I think they're losing a lot of ground just asking or demanding Chief Beck's firing. That's just not enough.
Yeah, we need the system to change.
We need some things.
Because if it's not Beck, they tell me Scott's coming back, Chief Scott, but no matter who it is, even Tanquerides, I believe, even though he was part of something, but he's a good person. But it's not about one person. The system, the entire system,
Right.
has to get right for our
Right.
community,
Right.
and
You
it
gotta
is
get all
not
them
right.
dirty cops
It is
out of
not
there.
right for our community the way it is now.
Well, the perfect example of what you're saying here is that after Chario was killed in the mall, and his family called him Chario, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to him or them, but they were able, LAPD in Pacoima, were able to capture this homeless man that was in the middle of a mental breakdown, and he was swinging a machete at people, threatening them with it. Well, when LAPD showed up, they had a whole different tactical approach
Right.
where they worked to isolate him. That's something Crenshaw Mall never moved to do, was
Right.
to isolate Chario in some kind of way where they could contain him.
Right.
They let him just stand there. They didn't even come from this side or another side.
They
to-
just came straight shooting.
just straight. And then they approach him with their guns drawn.
Right.
And of course, they said that they tried everything they could to talk him down, but it's like, calm down like this.
No, the guns all on him. It's all
Now,
on video.
Well,
'cause
let me
this
say
lady
this:
videotaped
if you're in the middle of an emotional break, a mental break, and you see a gun, what's the likelihood you're gonna put your hands up or run?
One or
Okay,
the
and
other.
we have to factor that in because Chario's family is upset because they feel like he was just totally dismissed.
Right.
We're gonna kill him. He's not
That's
leaving
it.
here alive,
Right.
and that's the way the family feels that he was treated.
I
And
feel the same way.
in the
That's how it
af-
looked
well,
on
in
camera.
the aftermath of it, I met his family. I met his two beautiful young daughters. People loved him. Okay, the police treated him like he's just some old crazy man. We just
Right.
gonna get rid of
But
him.
Exactly.
sister, I don't understand why you upset, because isn't that how they did Ezel Ford? Isn't that
Yes,
how they
it
did
is.
Africa and
Yeah.
the guy Africa downtown, and
Yes.
his
Yes.
police officers were just found guilty of negligence, and they're responsible for the $2 million, not LAPD. So they have to give his parent, his mom, $2 million.
Well, wait
so
a minute.
if
Wait
they're
a minute.
responsible for his death, why Jackie Lacey
Well,
didn't make him responsible? Make
Right,
him go to
'cause
the
okay,
She
look,
ain't doing what she's supposed to
wait,
do
wait,
either,
wait,
she-
because I got something important. Those cops that killed Stephen Eugene Washington, which started this thing for me
Right.
with LAPD and are mentally challenged, they got to sue the city,
Oh, yeah.
and they won $4 million because
Right.
Chief Beck sat them down.
Right.
Well, let's get those $2 million back from the taxpayer money and pay out that.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't see why you're upset. This is what they've done to us. This is what they do to us.
Yeah.
And mark my word, today is May 2018.
Yeah.
And May 2020, are we gonna have another name that we putting on here? Is there gonna be another victim?
Well,
Right.
you know what? We haven't solidified any policy changes. So when the next guy comes in, we're still at this square one. And when we're talking about the Millennium Challenge, there's also Reginald Doucette out in
Right.
Playa Vista
Right.
having
Oh,
an
yeah.
obvious meltdown because he's naked.
Wasn't he naked? I was gonna say
He was naked. He
Yeah.
was naked.
Man.
Okay. And I joked at the time. What do you do? Take his clothes off to prove he didn't have a gun?
That's
Okay.
what
Okay,
he
so
did.
and then still,
But that was mishandled, and he died as a result of that. So I'm just making the distinction.
What about the man they shot in the wheelchair 8 times?
oh yeah, that wasn't L.A. though. Yeah,
I
saw
know,
that,
but
yeah.
still,
That was the
that was sickening
Well, you
to
know,
watch.
we have to let Black Lives Matter handle stuff that we can't get at. We have enough to do right here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Right here in Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and that's
Well,
to
you
get-
know, Dr. Melina Abdul just got out of jail for what they did to Chief.
I
Well,
know.
she didn't do it.
She
but,
didn't do it, but Tiana
still,
did.
yeah.
I saw it. I
Right.
saw it, and I was kind of torn. You know, I knew the minute that I saw that ad that they were going to be arrested.
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew that. That's an assault on the top cop. Yeah, they're going to handcuff you and take you right. They're going
Right.
to perp walk you right on
right
out
on
the
that
door.
door.
So, but they were able to get out on bail. It's such a tragedy because that's another case that's unanswered. And bless that child's heart, she was in custody.
Right.
They were ready to
And
come
then they
pick
was
her
filed
up.
away. They did not notify her family.
Right.
So she died in custody, and
Mm-hmm.
the mother actually went to court and wondered why she wasn't there.
Right. Right.
Now that's-
expecting to get her out.
So did they What did they do about that?
They said it was suicide.
No, it wasn't.
Well, this is what this is
Yes,
the
what
problem
they
we're
saying.
having. Prove it was suicide. You know,
Yeah.
where are the body cameras? See, this is the thing that we've been banging on them for a long time. You promised body cameras at least 4 or 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We're just now getting them. South Bureau's only had them for a year.
Yeah, this system is ooh-wee.
We is right. So, you know,
They got money for everything.
What?
And they just not doing what they doing.
Well,
they
you know
took it and
why?
doing it to the gang police union.
It's because we're not demanding any changes from them,
Well, we
and
need
and
to
struggling
demand- we need to do
organizations.
petitions.
Well, struggling organizations like Ceasefire and Watch Gang Task Force, we've been pushing them about policy issues. Policy issues. We don't give a damn who's at the top. We want to know how your officers are going to conduct themselves in our neighborhood.
Right.
And the other thing, and I'm going to stand on this. Once you take a life, you have to go. You have to go.
Right.
And so we put that to, it was something that the former, well, not Bill Scott, but Bob Green agreed to. You know, when we told him, look, you get one shooting, then we don't want you patrolling. And he was agreeable to that. And in Bob Green's defense, when Alicia Thomas was killed, and we talked about that, and he promised me, sister, if I can't get her fired, I will get her out of South Bureau. He made that promise. Now, that's the kind of response I'm looking for from all of them.
Right. Our
Right.
community depends on having the right people policing our community. It's just as simple as that.
Yeah.
And it's not going on. Do you remember Jermaine Jackson, Bo, came here, he was shot 27 times across the street. He was shot 27 times in one shooting, and he survived.
Yes, he did.
So,
But
yeah.
that wasn't a law enforcement.
No, that wasn't law enforcement. But the reason I brought him up is because he told me that Metro just pulled him over. And he said they were real aggressive. And he said, well, I'm not going to get out the car till you call a supervisor. Well, he was saying watch commander instead of supervisor. He said it took him about 15 minutes before he got out the car. They immediately beat him up, roughed him up, impounded his car,
Yeah.
and took him to jail. And the charges they put on him were interfering with police, whatever the police were doing. They said he was
Activity.
interfering because he wanted to wait for a supervisor. So his car is impounded. He has a case. He has
That
to go to
sounds so
court.
familiar.
And it's
It does,
just,
doesn't it?
it's just,
They
you
did
know.
that to my oldest son.
But see, this is Metro that don't have the relationship. Had it been Southwest gangs or 77 gangs, they would have known that dude is older, survived the shooting,
Right.
and they'd have been like, "Man, let's just search the car and we cool." You know, you parked in the red, you don't have plates. Let's do, you know. But they don't have that relationship,
Metro,
and
no.
and truly, they don't care.
No.
So this system, they're going to take us back. We're one shooting away from it popping off again, like '92.
Man,
There are
and-
so many people who are angry and
Yes.
upset
Oh my
that we
God,
have
yes.
to bring it back
Yes.
together. And if
If
we
they
don't
we're
have
gonna
the
have a
right,
bad riot.
we're gonna have a bad one. We're gonna have a bad one.
Well,
it's
that's
coming.
not something I want to see happen because we
I
haven't
don't wanna
recovered
see
from
it
the
happen.
last
I don't
one.
either.
But
it
listen
is
to
a lot of
listen
tension.
to who's in their 20s now.
Yeah.
The guys who are in their 20s now were not around in '92.
No. they
So
weren't.
therefore, this is what they're gonna want, because just like in '92, I was 2 years old in '65, you know, or 18 months. So I didn't get to see it, so I didn't know how devastating it was.
Right.
I walked in.
Right.
Right.
Well, see, we're beyond
Yeah,
20 something.
something, yeah.
we raised our children. They're the 20 something
Yeah,
kids
I got
now.
a whooping for being in the riot.
Yeah.
Just going up there looting with
Well-
my red wagon.
You know, my kids, I was just keeping them home
We
safe.
sneaked
That
out
was
the
the whole
house.
thing. I just wanted them to be safe. Well, we were in the middle of it because we had a business on King Boulevard.
Yeah.
So that Saturday after the verdict, we watched the anger driving up and down the street and people running with looted stuff they couldn't even carry. It was like so crazy. You got
Right.
tires, but you ain't got no car.
Right.
You know, what are you doing?
Just taking advantage of
Just
an
taking
opportunity.
advantage of the
They took
opportunity.
advantage
Yeah.
of it.
Well-
Like they destroyed their own neighborhoods, like literally.
Well,
like,
the first 2 days, the day of the verdict,
yeah.
that's when it started. That was
Right.
anger and rage, and the next day it was anger and rage, and by the third day it turned into opportunism.
right, because
Okay, everybody was running around
and
taking
Slauson
anything they
looked
thought they could get out the
horrible.
door.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was bad everywhere. It was bad everywhere.
Manchester, Watts, everywhere was horrible.
It was.
Yeah, you just said Vermont and
All you kept
Slauson.
seeing was burnt smoke, endless smoke.
Right.
Like
So yeah, you said Vermont and Slauson. We got a
Yeah.
call earlier. There was a shooting over that way today, Vermont, like around a little further south. But yeah, so
Really?
yeah, people are still shooting each other.
Western?
You know.
Oh,
No,
Vermont. You said
Vermont.
Vermont.
I believe it was like
Oh, yeah,
60
right.
something.
Listen.
65th maybe.
It was. I seen it on the ground. My right hand to God. I was going to Kentucky by my daughter's house on 58th in Vermont. And I just had turned off of Florence. The police kept flying by me, and I was on Figueroa coming from off the freeway, and I went to Vermont, and I made a right, and on the left hand side of the corner, they shot the boy on a motorbike. It was a motorbike. I thought he got hit by a car, but you said a shooting, and I seen it. That's why I had to interfere. But
Yeah,
I seen
he's
that.
alive. I'm glad he.
Well,
I'm
that's
glad
good.
he's alive. Yeah.
But I seen it, and it was just so much. The street, the red. I mean, red tape. The yellow tape was all around.
You know, see that's the yin and yang of our relationship with
Yeah.
law enforcement. We have problems with them, but at a time like that, when your son was murdered, we needed them.
Yeah, we did.
We need them right now for Hannah Bell.
We need
and
them
I
big
really,
time for Hannah.
Look,
I want her mother to get some kind of closure because
look.
it's hard.
Is
for
there
you
such thing?
to watch? No, it's no closure,
Right.
but it's because I don't have closure.
Right. I was going to say that.
I will never have closure, and I'm not going to sit up here and tell everyone that the pain eases up. It never eases up because every morning that you get up, you think like, damn, why my child?
Yep.
Lord, why am I have to go through this?
Yes,
You know,
yes,
it's like a part of me died when my son died.
it did.
It literally died. A part of me died.
It did.
And people lose their kids, but to watch somebody literally kill your son in your face, oh my God, that's the worst feeling in the world because
And
I go still see psychiatrists to today. I see therapists. I still talk. I'm still angry. And if I sit here and tell you I'm not angry, I'll be lying to myself.
Yeah.
And I'm lying to you. And I will never do that.
But you know what? This is why we ask our mothers to come. See, because people are busy assuming, oh, they're all right. They caught the killer. They're going to be all right now.
No.
That's just a close of one chapter. But
I was
now
so
I have to live the
disrespected
rest
in the
of my
courtroom
life.
as well.
Yeah, and you know, that's the hard part. Then you have to go and face your child's murder. And your child, you didn't lose your child. He was stolen from you.
Yeah, they
And we
definitely
like to make
stole
that real clear. Like Vicky says, I can find my car keys,
Yeah.
but they took my son.
Right.
I can't find him. He's not coming back. So
Never, ever.
we respect our mothers enough to not only be on their side and support them, but make our community understand what you have been traumatized by. And it's a lifetime trauma. And what people don't understand, you were there when they murdered your child. See, that's the hard part we're not paying attention to. And anybody got a pushback about Hannah and her mom and the pink hair or anything about Hannah, you need to find some dang respect and consideration for the women and mothers of our own darn community. See, because this is Mother's Week. Mother's Weekend.
Exactly.
And the truth is, nobody got here, not one shooter
Guess what she
got here without coming through one of us.
Samantha got, for her Mother's Day gift, she has to bury her daughter,
Yes.
Hannah Bell.
Skip said
And that's
that.
really, really sad
Yes, it
that
is.
she has to do that. And 2 weeks, it'll be the anniversary of my son's death, 3 years already. But
2
it's just like
2 weeks
every
from now.
day, 2 weeks from now.
Wow.
And his birthday is June 1st.
Wow.
So he got killed 2 days before his 20th birthday.
I remember that part.
So,
Sister, do you remember the mothers that I brought here about a year or two ago that were on the show with us? Yvonne Trice, whose son was Monte, was killed in Pasadena. Also Jennifer, whose son was killed in Compton, and Trina, whose son passed in the hospital. He died. But and there's another lady named Keisha that I grew up with. and Melissa, whose son was killed May 30th down here. So we're in a group text, and I brought these mothers together just so they'd have, and somehow they kept me in this group text. And yesterday I couldn't take it. I had to turn my phone off.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
one mother said, I want to scream. I can't take it today.
Yes.
And the next mother
Yes.
wrote this long paragraph, how strong we are as sisters and we can get through this. And another mother said, Melissa said, well, my son, May 30th, is going to be 6 years, but it feels like it was just 6 minutes ago.
Yep.
Right.
And this is probably the hardest thing to deal with.
Yeah.
And
It
it
is.
takes mothers to be with other mothers that understand that pain.
Yes.
Understand what's going on. Because let me tell you, I don't believe a therapist. I don't believe
Nobody can
I
take
don't-
care of that.
I don't believe
I
a
quit
doctor.
going-
I don't believe a police officer. I do not believe there is
Nobody.
anyone who can fix that pain.
Nobody.
No. And you know what? The beauty about that group, they have each other. That's really the best therapy that our mothers have right now is one another,
Right.
because they want to scream too. And as they said Monday night when the mothers came out after dark to pass out flyers for Hannah, every time there's a killing, it opens my wound about my child. I remember my child. And folks should not overlook that. How many of our kids have been taken from their families in violence, and we've been silent about it? And I've been so offended. We're more concerned about Kanye
Yeah, that
and
was
his
real-
ignorance than we are about the killing
And
from
I don't even
Chicago to
never pay
Memphis to
Kanye
Los
no attention.
Angeles. You know, and it just, we're just on such a wrong page.
We really are, because my brother was a gang member, and he was from 5 Deuce Hoover.
Well, we don't claim no neighborhoods
Okay, but I'm
for
just
everybody's
saying,
safety.
Okay, but God,
you know,
God forbid. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, back in the day, and he got murdered. You know what I'm saying? And
it's a nature. It was a
and
nature.
my
of the thing.
nephew, my sister's son, got murdered on, right here on Vernon and 3rd Avenue.
That's
and he
too much.
came back. He got shot 4 times,
That's too much.
and he died right in my face. I
That's
watched
too
my
much.
nephew die, and I watched him be born,
That's too much.
and that's sad.
It is. It's too much. You know, the
Yes.
hardest thing for us as women, as I said, nobody got into this
And
world
he wasn't a
without
gang
coming
member.
through one
You
of
don't have to
us.
be a gang member today.
Nobody
to get
got
killed.
in the world without coming through one of us.
That's
and
right.
then we have
As a
to
mother
suffer
and
the
the dad.
disrespect to have our children stolen from us before their time. We have to bury them instead of them burying us.
Yes.
And then to have our babies killed in front of us. You know, the community and law enforcement moved heaven and earth to make sure that Tevin's murderers, and it was multiple, did not get away. And
I
believe
think
me,
I
they
heard
was
that.
trying to, from that chick that confronted you that day
Mm-hmm.
and thought that she was just pure gold, nobody gonna touch her. They picked her up first.
She
They
was the
picked
first
her up
one that
first.
got.
Can I start an argument real quick?
Please.
Because you said that each one of the children who have been murdered have come through one of you.
A
But let
mother.
me just, a mother, and each one of the shooters have also
Come through
come
a
from
mother.
one of you.
Yes.
So which child is the hurt child who is out here hurt and can't reach back and have that conversation, and even tonight as we speak or tomorrow is looking to hurt someone else's child?
I'm wondering about Hannah's murderer. Where did he come from?
He
What is
came out
his
of
background?
one of you.
And
he came
where?
out of a woman.
Yeah, but you know what? Just because we birthed you doesn't mean we get to see you grow. Some of our mothers have been taken from us through drugs and crime and gang conduct too. Some of them have died, and some of our kids have been raised by foster care. So we don't have that household structure the way we used to when we were kids.
Exactly.
How do we find them? Because if we don't find them, they're going to hurt someone else.
This is where we need the men. See,
That's why
this is where
I
we need the
text.
men. The mothers have
I
been
posted
crying on the
that.
corner way back when Charlotte started was killed. That was 1988. That's when I started. We marched all
Charlotte.
around this
I
city.
know Charlotte. Really
I know
well.
you do. But it was Charlotte, it was Vicki Lindsay, it was Lorna Hawkins.
You know what she just said and what you just said? She says, I know, Charlotte. You said, I know you do. Because it takes one to know one.
It takes one to know one.
That is too bad.
It's crazy.
And I
It's
seen
insane.
her lose 3 of her kids.
The lady who showed up when Hannah Bell was shot, who calmed the mother down and said, let me help her, was Linda J. Linda J's daughter, Brittany, was killed
at
in
16.
2009
Yes.
or 2008 on
Manchester and Normandy.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, like,
remember
once
that.
again,
At 16.
Linda J., I told Samantha Mays, I said, the lady who came to help you, she knows your pain. And that's why she was there by your side, because she understands that.
Yes.
That is horrible.
It is horrible, and it has been horrible for us.
Yeah.
So, Skip, it matters.
I should have took off this day. I should have been here last week.
No, it matters what you said at the press conference, calling on all the men and the fathers. It's time
I
to stand
posted
up.
that as well on my on my Facebook. I let them know that, I want somebody to come forward. Y'all sitting around waiting and running in the church and lying and, oh, my son will do this. And your son's out there shooting somebody. Next he could come and shoot your sister's son and don't even know, or shoot somebody come and shoot one of your family members. What you going to do, still hold up for him? No, you better turn him in.
Well,
it ain't about snitching. It's about getting that killer up off the street, because next he going to come kill you.
I want to finish what I was saying about
sorry.
Tevin's scenario, because that was, everybody was offended. Everybody was offended. I mean, we stood on the corner that night and people
Who
drove
killed
by,
somebody
honked
in front of
horns
their mother?
in agreement.
Sick.
That's what made everybody angry.
Oh, my God.
But look, the community, that corner community, turned their backs on those that shot your son.
Exactly.
They let it be known. We had nothing to do with this. They're independent. They're rogue. Go get them.
Go
get
get 'em.
them. We don't
Get 'em.
want the heat. We wasn't a part of this. Go get them. So
I want him out of the neighborhood because they making it heat.
Look, everybody got on board. Everybody was on that bus. And so between the
love
community and law enforcement, they were able to go get your son's murderer from Texas. See, because
In 1
that's
week.
how his crew thought, well, he should get away. So we going to get him out of state.
Right.
The community say, oh, hell no, he's coming back. We're
He's
going to
going to
find
come back.
him.
He's going to kill somebody else, because that's what he does
No.
over there. They know he's a known killer.
Well, that's
And
what-
he's been doing it for a long time.
But
him
you know
and that
what?
little crew.
This is when LAPD came through for the community. They went
They
and got
did.
him. They picked up everybody, starting with that girl that confronted you after they
same
killed
day.
your baby. They
Same
picked her
day.
up first, and then they picked up
They arrested
everybody
her.
else.
They arrested her right there at
Right
the car
there on
wash
the
the
spot.
same day on May the 29th.
She had lost her mind talking crazy to you.
She
Her
definitely
friends just
lost
kill
her
your
mind.
son, and then she just gonna walk up and mean mug you and talk crazy and put her hands on you too.
And the shooter
Oh.
was her boyfriend. That part.
I hope they don't have any children.
I don't know, but the girl that was
hope
in
they
court,
don't have any
When
children.
we say
They brought
I'm
7
looking for
kids
the one
into
that's
the
hurt,
court.
it would be their child.
Yeah, it would be
that
their
right
child.
there.
Right.
Exactly.
She just allowed his daddy to orphan their child if they
Right.
had one, because she went to lock up. They went to Texas and got him and brought him back. He stood trial for murder, so he's in prison.
He got 6 baby mamas. 6, not 1, not 2, 6. And the girl that was in court, the last one, she was pregnant. He said, oh, yeah, I'm going to see my kids. I'm going to see my kids.
No, you ain't.
I said, not in this
Not
MF
in this
world.
lifetime.
Not in this lifetime.
Nope.
You won't.
Mm-mm. You're done,
And I
son.
tried to attack. Straight attack.
Look, I have promised. Look, I got the ski mask and the brass knuckles and the clubs, and I will be your alibi, and we could take that
Man.
ride and go handle this business.
Yes,
because
'cause-
how much more can we take? How many more Mother's Days do we have to start
I
out
don't never
this
want
way?
a mother to walk my shoes.
No. And these are African American women, and when I think about everything that we as a people have been through, this is the most heartbreak. The most heartbreak. They got it where our kids are killing themselves. They're killing each other, and as they're killing each other, they're killing our girls too. Our babies have been caught in the crossfire. I was thinking of the list of names that I have. Little Jasmine Sanders killed at 8 years old in her own courtyard by a 13-year-old cousin, because he
Right.
came to get vengeance against an 18-year-old that had harmed his family. But in his efforts, that bullet ricocheted and killed his little 8-year-old cousin. You see, so it's been all kinds of tragedies in it. Kashmir James killed on Christmas Day in front of her 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
The
That
shooter
was
didn't.
horrible.
Yeah, the
That was
shooter
real
didn't come for
horrible.
her, but she's the one that caught the bullet. You see, and so there's madness in this that has to stop.
So when we talk about hurt people, think about it. 3-year-old daughter
Mhm.
for Kashmir James.
Mhm.
That was, what year was that? 2010.
2010.
So with now 8 and 3, she's what, 11?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So she's going to get older and she's hurting.
Mm-hmm.
The same way you will never forget that pain, as you say, you wake up in the morning,
Mhm.
she's going to feel that pain.
Yeah.
She's going to be hurt.
Yeah.
And she might be, it might start with her being in a domestic relationship where she's hurting the person she's in love with.
Right.
And it might turn into, that anger and pain. We have to find the children and be able to do something with that,
Yeah.
because they're hurt.
Mhm.
They're broken. They're
Yeah.
broken.
Yeah.
And then let me tell you, who else is overlooked? The siblings.
Oh my
The
God.
siblings are
My
broken.
They
kids
don't
are-
pay any attention
Yeah.
to the siblings at all, except to arrest them if
My
they're
son has never been the same.
no.
Right.
And my daughter, I got one of my daughters, she's 40 years old. She's drinking herself to death, I don't like that. And she has 3 children, and it bothers me so much because she argues my son.
You know what? This is the side effect that people aren't paying attention to. People act differently to this kind of trauma, and even in my own family, I had a cousin killed my cousin's only son, 29, killed, and my cousin climbed in the bottle and stayed there.
Right.
And I couldn't be mad at her because that's how she managed that.
Right, that's how my sister does.
Yeah.
They never caught the guy who killed her son.
Yeah.
But she told me that when my son got murdered and they found them boys guilty, that she got some kind of relief
Mm-hmm.
because she was able to feel some kind of way for me.
That there was justice,
Right.
but it doesn't.
She lost her son first, and I turned around and lost my son. We lost our brother first, our baby brother. Then I lost my son. She lost her son.
Saying when your son was killed, that opened her wound.
That
And
opened
for
it back
both
up.
of you with your brother, too. It's just too
And
much
my
trauma.
brother's son, he got beat to death in Vegas.
Oh,
But they caught the guys who beat him to death
mhm.
in the apartment building.
That's just too much.
I let him
We've
go
been through
visit his
much.
mother, and he got beat to death.
That's
out
crazy.
there.
That's crazy. That doesn't make any sense.
No.
But, in Los Angeles, we are turning the corner, and it's thanks to men like Skip and the men that
We
showed
need
up.
men like Skip.
Well, the men that showed up at Hannah's press conference are the men in a position to do something about
Right,
this.
wow.
And so we're calling on them. And, the apathetic should be happy there are men like Skip and these men that showed up
Yeah.
Monday.
Really?
See, because the retaliation that could have taken place behind Hannah could have been as traumatic as it was when Barbara Hughes' son was killed. Barbara Hughes is another friend of ours that had 2 of her sons murdered. The first one was murdered about 10 years ago when he was 15. And he was shot on the bus by a 16-year-old. So when I say that our mothers have been traumatized, yeah, we have.
That's
And
a
then in 2016, behind somebody else's nonsense, these guys ride through her neighborhood and kill her second son coming home from work in his hospital clothes. He worked at Cedars, so he had on his scrubs. And
I
he's,
remember you telling me about
Mhm.
that.
Yeah. And so that's 2 for her. And it's like, what, we just birthing our sons?
For somebody
Talking about
to take
mothers,
them.
we're birthing sons into the world for them to get old enough for a man that looks like them to kill them, to take them, steal them away from me.
And
It's
now they're
something-
taking our daughters.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're taking the girls now. They don't care who they shoot. But I'm just so devastated because a lot of people don't know how it feels
No.
to lose your child.
No.
And for somebody to literally murder your child in your face, oh my God. Like I say, I have a memorial set up in my house. Mornings I get up. I can't even get out to bed. Some days I can go. Some days I don't. Some days like this week, I just feel like staying at the cemetery.
Yes.
Because it's close to my son's anniversary. So.
Yes. Yes. And you know what? It is that way on Mother's Day. I've heard this for so many years. I just don't want to do anything. I want to go be alone. I want to spend time with my family. But no, I don't want to come out to any Mother's Day events. I'm not interested in going
because
to
I
that.
had him maybe 3 weeks after Mother's Day. So, yeah.
It's a very hard holiday. It's a very hard holiday for some of us. And, you know, this is just our effort to remind us that if you think our children's lives have any value at all, you ought to really be concerned about it. You really ought to find compassion in your heart. You ought to find some kind of way to open a door to guide those running into something better, to protect those that aren't doing anything at all.
Right.
You know, and this is one of the things we were banging on the church a week ago. Church is a week ago, you know.
They need to get banged
because
on
they've been
some of them.
absent. They've been absent.
They don't even want to. They don't even want to give into the community. They don't want to help the homeless. They always have something to say negative. I don't see anything in the churches. Even I ain't gonna call out no names like you said. The
Yeah,
churches.
don't call out no names.
Because I just had to catch myself.
We have a disclaimer for a reason. Don't call out no names.
Okay.
But you know
We
what,
don't
though?
want poets getting sued because of what we said.
I would really. I'm just gonna be honest. About 13 years ago, I was on the radio with Jeff Carr, and I was about to call out some names because my friend Bo Taylor had passed away, and there were some mega churches who said he's going to bring Crips and Bloods. We don't want that here. And I felt broken. Like, man, he's going to bring the president of Venezuela, Harry Belafonte, Danny Glover, Pete Carroll. These are the people that's going to come. The mayor, Antonio, Sheriff Baca. These are people coming. You know, but you want to highlight that. And I want to call out the names of those churches. And Jeff Carr said, Skip, highlight the churches that do open the doors.
Right.
Don't talk about the ones that don't.
No.
Let's talk about the ones that will.
No.
And from that point on, I started finding churches that open doors.
Yes.
And it made it easier. But I was gonna bust on them too.
Well, look, I want.
Because I was finna go there and I had to catch myself.
I know
looked
because
at you
it's
and I looked
tempting.
at
Look, it's tempting. Because when they're bad, they're really
man.
bad, and when they're absent, they're really absent.
The
and
rich and the famous,
when the few
okay.
that do show up,
That's how we bust them out, the rich and the famous.
Yeah, the
What-
rich and
It's
the
you guys.
no, you know
That
what?
part.
Really, what I really wanna tie this all together. I
They
just
did
don't
my
want to.
son's funeral like that.
Listen, I don't want to just bang on the churches. The problem the churches need to recognize, we can't get 5 of you to come together. Not 5 of you to come together to do anything in South LA that says, oh, we of the church, we're representing for that Savior you speak for from the pulpit every Sunday,
Right.
but are you doing like he did?
Right.
Are you feeding the homeless? Are you
Right.
taking care of the
No,
children?
you're
Are you
not.
protecting the women? Are you doing
No, you're
any of
not.
that? So what we
You got
want,
any shelters? You got all these billions of dollars.
we
Where's
got-
the shelters?
Bethel has a shelter.
Cots. With the kids with the
look,
little
See, so if you're gonna call Bethel,
Bethel where we meet has a shelter, and I only say Bethel because Bethel, thanks to Pastor Lewis Logan and now present Pastor Calloway, Ceasefire has been meeting in their fellowship hall since our very beginning.
Right.
Now, when
and even before that, it was a community call to action. with
community
Devin
call
Brown.
to action and accountability.
Right.
But the point I'm trying to make is, where the other churches say, well, why don't you have a meeting over here?
Right.
Well, hey, we'll open our doors. Why don't you bring that meeting over here? You pointed it out. They say, oh, Crips and Blood. No, we don't want that.
No.
Well, in the interim, our kids are still dying. They're still being killed. They still need to be buried.
Right.
Now, my friend used to fuss about the offering. Okay, and I'm from the church days when they had the missionary offering,
Right.
then they had the tithe
Tithe
offering, then they had the pastor's
Children,
love
yeah,
offering.
right.
So it was 3
pastor
collections.
love offering.
Yes.
Pastor love offering. You
It
never
was-
got away with the love offering.
Okay, well look, The tithes is to pay the bills, pay the rent. Okay, the love offering is to pay the pastors rent and feed him.
And
Exactly.
get him a Porsche or a
Yeah.
Cadillac.
No,
What you talking about, a
I'm not.
Bentley?
No, I'm not
A private
advocating that.
airplane?
I'm not
Right.
advocating that. But
Private airplane,
I'm just
private
trying to make
jet.
a point. Look, if they're still collecting the missionary offerings, why couldn't that be used to help bury some of these children?
That's
See,
right.
this is where the five churches could come together and really help our mothers in this crisis. Come mentor to them, help them with these final arrangements, give them a place to bring their child home. But you all up here shunning? Really? What if Jesus shunned you the way you've been shunning us?
They gonna get shunned. They gonna get shunned. They gonna have to answer to that one day.
They really are.
I'd like
They
for
are.
them
They
to
gonna be
do
the first
better
ones that God
before they have
come
to
to.
answer that question that way. Where were you
There's
when
a lot
Hannah
of them
Bell
let the
needed
community
help?
down.
Yeah, where were you when
Remember they
Kevin
had
Price
the show,
needed
the
help?
show with the pastors on it. All of them have
Oh,
beautiful
preachers
homes.
in L.A. Oh,
Have
Preachers
beautiful
in LA,
homes and
yeah.
nice cars and that was just man.
Rich
that was
and the
just like-
famous.
That was just like rubbing it in.
I
our
just want to know what
face,
they
like,
giving into the community because I don't see
nothing.
nothing.
They didn't
Nothing.
give anything. And look, that's why they
And
were
I'm
only
looking at
on
you.
maybe 5 episodes. They
and they got
didn't make
cut
it
off.
through their first season. They didn't need to be on the first damn place.
They- what
Excuse
y'all on
me.
there for?
When that
You
brother
not-
talked
did-
about, look,
Did you show where you were helping homeless? You got cots
no,
in the building.
the man
No.
was talking about the house him and his wife
Wife
used to
lived
live in that had outgrown her wardrobe, so they had to get a bigger house. So now this house is his man cave.
Right.
You got this big old mansion, you call it your man cave, and I'm thinking about how many foster kids could live up in there.
that man
Right.
cave.
Or homeless
But it's your
people.
man cave
and not
for you and
homeless
your-
people who are mentally health, but there are some homeless mothers who just need that
Thank
extra
you.
step
Yes.
to
That's
get out
it.
on their own,
Yes.
man. And
Yes.
you know,
That's
this is
it.
and you know, for me, this is one thing I thought about. There's another church not far from here, but I was thinking to myself that he got a Bentley. Someone from Saudi Arabia gave him a Bentley that was worth $300,000. So I was thinking, if I was the pastor of the church, I would not drive that Bentley. I would sell it. I'd buy 2 vans. I'd take 2 ex-felons who
There it
can't
is.
get jobs anywhere else, and I would pay them $30,000 a year to help the elderly and the sick in the community go
Or
to
how
the
about
store,
help the
to come to
kids?
church.
How
I
about
mean, even the
help the
kids from
kids?
school, whatever it is. But they would have 2 church vans, and those vans would be working at least 8 hours a day,
For one
helping
car,
the
they could
community.
maybe get 4 vans.
You know, but I'm saying,
Yeah,
you know, just
nice
if we
vans.
just started with 2.
$300,000,
You know, I
you
mean-
can get nice vans.
I know some of my friends that are ministers and
No names.
I'm not. But when my son got murdered, they've been knowing me all my life. Do you think one of them came to reach out to me, and we're ex-crime partners? Do you think
No.
that they reached out to me?
I'm
Look me
ashamed
right
to
in
say
my
that.
face. I
I'm
ain't gonna say
ashamed
no
to say
names, but
that.
if they see this, they probably know I'm talking about them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm
They know who
directing
they
it
are.
to
You
them.
know who you are.
And I'm
You know
directing
who
it
you
to
are.
you, and you know who you are. And I really thought that you would reach out, but guess what he told me? Oh, you were supposed to reach out to me.
Oh,
And you see my son laying on the ground, and you rolled by in your van? No, baby.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. That's not a man of God.
No.
Sorry.
Well, you know what? It's such a hard time.
Every
that
gang
people
minister
don't know what to say,
reached out
but
to
the
me.
minister should.
Ministers.
That's really
that
what I'm
are
saying.
ex-gang
Everybody
members
don't know what to say,
literally
but the minister
reached
should.
out to me and
Yes.
my family. People I never even knew existed.
Yes.
Reached out. People from Africa, all over the country,
All over the world.
all over the world reached out to me. I never even knew these kind of people even existed until this happened to me. So that's why it's important to me as a mother to help Samantha
Right.
find who killed Hannah Bell.
Yes, it's
For real.
our responsibility as a community, as human beings.
I'm
as
part
neighbors.
of this village.
As
I'm gonna build
folks
back.
that call themselves village members to start acting like it, and it's really up to our churches to become participants in this. If we're ever going to shun the lifestyle, and this is what this has become, it's become a lifestyle. And it's angry. It's full of anger and rage, unexpressed rage and frustration. And our kids are walking around feeling like, dang, am I next?
Right.
You know,
My little 15-year-old granddaughter told me the other night, she said, Grandma, I pray every day because I don't know what's going to happen today because I just want to get grown. And sometime when I go to school, I'll be wondering. That's why I always say, Grandma, I love you. Mommy, I love you. I love you, brother. Because she don't know if she going to walk back home, come back home or not. Because she goes to a high school where they had a killing there. She goes to Fairfax High School. And they had a killing there. How long ago? I think it was like 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, Fairfax is
exactly
that kind of neighborhood that
right.
has those.
Mm-hmm.
But God knows we've had our share
of that.
We really have.
Yeah.
Delisha Allen, 15, 2005,
Right.
killed in front of her high school.
Right.
Standing next to the Target. Standing next to that boy that she thought was so cute. Maybe she wanted to call and talk to him later.
Right.
And before she could get home, somebody came up trying to kill him and killed her instead. And that baby laid in a coma for 5 days. 5 days. Asking God, do I have to go?
Right.
Lord, I'm only 15. Do I have to go?
So, sister, we are running out of time here.
Yeah, I think
we have
we are.
like 1 minute. If you want to leave the world with something, what is your message to the world, Jennifer?
My message is to all you men out there, stop standing behind the doors. Man up. Reach out to these mothers like me and help us stop this killing. It's going to take you to come and stand up for us. We need you. But I'm a soldier. And trust me, I'm going to fight to the bitter end. Because we need this. Mm-hmm. And it's horrible for someone to kill your child in your face. And for your child to get murdered, period. It doesn't matter what the circumstances is. For you to take somebody's child's life, it's wrong. And I think that everybody that sees somebody do something, you don't have to give your name. You can call down and tell them where you know that they live. Or you seen this murder, but you don't want to be a part of it. But I'm going to tell you the boy's name. This is where they're at. You know what I'm saying? Go get them. You can do that.
The one thing we have to assure is protection for our witnesses.
Well, we definitely need protection for the witnesses.
Yes, we do.
They can go to, and they have witness protection programs, which they change their name and move some of them.
I'm talking about community.
Right.
Oh, yeah, well, the community, yeah, so we don't have to leave.
And I think one of the things you just said is for the men. For the men, I think the men have to stand up.
Yeah.
And protect our women and children so that it doesn't happen. So that we don't have to do that. Because at some point, if we're talking about calling the police versus I'm going to call your mama, I'm going to call your grandmama, but I'm not going to allow you to hurt anyone else.
Right.
So men of God, men of the streets, I want y'all to keep y'all head to the sky, but at the same time, I want you to prevent the next one. The life you save may be your own.
Or your own child.
Or yours.
Absolutely. God bless you. Thank you, Jennifer, for coming. Very
Thank
hard.
you for letting me come.
Very hard Mother's Day weekend, but we praying for all of our mothers that have been on this horrific bridge. You're in our hearts and in our prayers. We love you. God bless you, community family. Thank you for listening. And Gang Talk is coming back with a pre-recorded show next week, so sister can take a break. I love you. Bye.